Good morning. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. It is the 18th of March. It is 11 a.m. and I am back with the Monday morning show. A big good morning to everybody that is out there, including Hidden Agendas, Mohammed, Why Crypto, Mags, lots of you out there. A big thank you to all of you as well. We have new subscribers, which we can't really talk about today, but we have new subscribers. I might sound a little bummed up today because I've not had a great night's sleep. I think I've had about 4 or 5 hours sleep, and I don't do very well without sleep. So I'm probably not going to be on full form today, but we have a good show. What we're going to talk about today, of course, we've had our mini correction to the downside over the weekend. We're now back up. We're going to go through that. We're going to have a look at who Mr. 100 is. We commented on this on Friday or Saturday, and I do believe that there is an idea on who he is. So we're going to tell you who the experts think he is. We're going to go through BOME, Book of Meme. Again, this happened over the last few days, and I am going to tell you a little bit about BOME, and it's going to come with a warning. ARB dump, we told you last week that I couldn't see a way that the price of Arbitrum was going to stay up, and in all honesty, I don't think it's done too bad. It has corrected to the downside. We are going to look at that as well. India, we're going to look at how India treats crypto, AI VCs, and then final thoughts. And again, I am not going to get rid of my $74,000 target. That is going to be my next target. A big thank you to Why Crypto for suggesting. I've made a video about a project called the Gary Network. Really impressed by the project. Need to work on their marketing. But as always, as you know on this channel, we try and be as honest as possible and as constructive as possible. So I hope they take that in the right light. Slothbag, good morning. Dropped in and showing support like you did with Bitforex. Still no word from anyone. Still a crazy situation. What I would say, Sloth, is the first thing I did was try and find people's support. Whenever something like this happens, it's always best to try and connect everybody together. And their Discord channel will lead you to the Telegram group, which I think is called Bitforex Scam, maybe. That's the best you can do at the minute, is go there, try and find what's happening, where we are with everything. It's crazy. And yes, Solana is on fire. We're going to have a look at that very soon. Right, let's get on and have a little look at the charts then. See where we are and see what we are up to. So market cap is up just a tad. We are at just over 2.55 trillion. The volume is down, but still, remember what we were saying. The volume over a weekend 6 months ago was 25 to 30 billion. And I said, and I will continue to say, $100 billion plus days are now the norm. Today, tomorrow, we should be back towards 130, 140. We will even hit $200 billion in a day. An incredible volume, really, when you consider it. Bitcoin dominance has moved down and then moved back up. ETH dominance has moved down considerably. Have I bought Gary? I am not going to tell you if I've bought Gary. I will make a video and explain later on about Gary. Yes, I'm probably going to keep that on my radar because I think the problem with Gary is that they need to sort out having it just at, they need to work on another territory as well as India. To me, I went in there and it just felt like an Indian product aimed at the Indian market, and they need to expand. It needs to become global. Yeah, I mean, the Bitforex video that we made, it was really pretty bad. When the CEO left, which I think was about 3 months before they went down, that was obviously nobody knew at the time. Everybody's got 2020 vision that Bitforex was going to crash, but nobody at the time knew. Lots of people had very specific tokens like ONI locked in to Bitforex. They were then sent to exchanges. As far as I'm aware, some of those coins have been captured. So there is some possible comeback from that. So good luck to you. Bitcoin then sitting just under 68,000. Ethereum sitting just under $3,600. Remember where we were. We were back up. We're down 5% on Bitcoin, 11% on Ethereum in the last week. But we are still sitting under the previous all-time highs. Let's not forget where we are. We are at 68,000. All-time high was 69 and change, 69.3. So we've retraced back to the previous all-time high. We're going to look at the Bitcoin chart as well. And Solana has retaken third spot. It's overtaken BNB. It is absolutely cruising. We told you $174. We told you $200. Now, we also told you that we need to break $200, and in my opinion, we then need to test it as support. That's the best thing that can happen to Solana. What we don't want to do is we don't want to have a runaway train, because what happens to runaway trains? They get derailed, and we don't want to see that. We're going to talk about BOME. That's a perfect example of a derailing train, if you ask me. So gainers and losers then over the last 24 hours. Render, Wemix, Theta, Solana, Sui, lots of double-digit gainers. Aave is up, Pyth is up, Ton is up. I don't want Ton to be up any further than it already is. I think it's overvalued. I'll keep saying that. Now, losers. Floki is down a touch. Optimism, Arweave, Algorand. Nothing really has majorly lost ground over the last 24 hours. So let's move on. We've got a busy show. I don't really want to be tied up too much in looking at the prices. We've got quite a few X-Files. Remember, we've got the Sunday and Saturday nights. So we've got 2 days. Monday is a bit of a funny show anyway. Steve Lubkra, I survived the March 13th to March 14th bear market, and there was the dip all the way down there. We came down to, was it 65.5 I think we came down to, and we've bounced straight back up. And that was over a weekend without the ETFs buying up all the Bitcoin. What is the solution? If not work harder, what is it? People no longer believe working hard will lead to a better life. Survey shows. I totally agree. I think working smarter is the way to move forward. People do not invest early enough in their lives. People wait until their 30s and 40s to start putting money away. And if you read any book about investment, any book about retirement, they will always tell you to start investing in your early 20s. And crypto especially is something that you can use to make life-changing wealth. If, for example, you are a 20-year-old and you're sitting there and you've got, I don't know, 20 or 30 Solana. If 20 or 30 Solana can get you $20,000 or $30,000 at your age, in most countries, that's an incredible start to your life. The same with Bitcoin, the same with Ethereum, the same with the large layer ones and layer twos. You should be looking at them, especially if you're young. I know you have a higher risk profile, but think about the fact that if you are going to be sitting here this time next year with $50,000 in your crypto portfolio because everything has mooned, just remember to convert some of it back to your fiat currency. I know fiat gets debased. I understand that Bitcoin is an inflation hedge, but you need to diversify as well. You can't have 100% of your portfolio solely in crypto. I don't care how many gains you make out of it. You should always put money to the side, always put money in a high interest savings account or bonds or something else and diversify out when you've made your gains. It's important because working hard does not equate to making money these days. The world has changed and the world is changing. You have to try and work smarter. So remember, it's all well and good having $50,000 on paper. Turn some of it into money. Now then, another example of what we have seen in previous cycles. These are the types of corrections that we've seen. Why do the corrections get shorter and shorter and narrower and narrower? Let me bring this up. The reason is the market cap of Bitcoin and crypto in general in 2016 to 17 was probably a third or a quarter of what it was in 2022, 2021, and is even smaller. Sorry, is even larger now than it was then. So the corrections are still going to happen, but they're going to become shallower and narrower, especially when you have the ETFs buying up so much Bitcoin. All of these dips are being bought into, and that's where, as the market matures and Bitcoin becomes a bigger and bigger asset, its volatility will start to decrease over time, as you would expect. It's very difficult to push the market down 40% when it's a $1.4 trillion asset class. It's a lot easier to do it when it's a $100 billion asset class. So over time, the volatility will come out of the market. Now, the side effect of the volatility coming out of the market is the upside won't be as high as it has been, because for each of these corrections, we've seen 500, 600, 800% gains. We're not going to see that again. We might see a 300 or 400% gain in this cycle. We might see a 150% gain in the next cycle. We might see a 50% gain in the cycle after, or a 30% gain in the cycle after. The bigger the market cap, the harder it is to push Bitcoin higher and higher and higher. And when we talk about higher and higher, we're talking about when it's at $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 or $600,000, not now when it's at $60,000, $70,000. There's still time to extract as much value as you can out of Bitcoin. But this is a good example of showing you just how less volatile Bitcoin is becoming. And when you hear politicians talk about the volatility in Bitcoin, they are referring to this cycle here, 40%, 30%. They are not talking about these cycles. These cycles of 21%, 14%, 10%, 5%, this happens in business. This happens in the stock market. It's the 40, 50% corrections, which are extreme, should we say. Let's move on. There's quite a few of these today. So these are the poll results on what we think the number of Bitcoin that will be bought by the ETFs will be this week. And we think 25 to 40,000. So what does that equate to? That equates to 5,000 to 8,000 Bitcoin a day this week will be taken off the market. Now remember, we showed you the chart on Saturday. Only 900 Bitcoin a day are being produced. That will be 450. So by the end of April, we will be in a situation where there's only 3,000 Bitcoin a week being produced. We're buying 25 to 40,000 a week just through the ETFs, let alone Michael Saylor or you or I or anybody else. So at some point, as I keep saying, the price of Bitcoin will have to go up to bring down the number of Bitcoins that these ETFs are buying net. That's the key. We have to find an equilibrium. I don't care what the price action tells you. We have to find an equilibrium. It is basic economics. And the final one, there's a few today, but that's because I've had to pick them out of 2 days worth rather than a day. Now, not everybody in the world makes money out of meme coins, and this poor soul is an example why. Not everyone can make money by trading meme coins on Solana. This guy traded 11 meme coins in 3 days and lost $147,000. He seems to be very FOMO, which means fear of missing out, and always buying high and selling low. And they are the coins that he invested, and this is the second column is what he got out, and the profit and loss is on the right hand side. As you can see, he has been buying just random memes. Now, this isn't to say that this person doesn't have another 5,000 Solana to one side, where he can keep doing this until one of them absolutely moons and he makes back 50,000 Solana or something ridiculous. But this is an example of people losing a lot of money on meme coins on a grand scale. Not on a scale where they've lost $20 or $30, but losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Where do I think the next bear market will begin? I think if you base the cycle, on the 4-year cycle, we should be heading towards all-time highs between the end of summer and November next year. So if that's the case, then potentially the bear market will begin in January 2026. That's based on history. That's based on where we've been in the past. And again, I don't think we're going to have the same kind of bear market that we've seen in the past. I think it will be a bear market. I think we are going to lose maybe 80% on alts, but I don't think Bitcoin is going to retrace 60% this time. I think it might retrace 30 or 40% simply because the money is in different people's hands nowadays. And I think the one thing that BlackRock will want to do is remove volatility from Bitcoin. They will want it to become digital gold and move up 5 or 10% a year, 15% a year, because that will get them their fees, that will get them their return on investment for their clients. Do I think the cycle will be different? Every cycle is different. History doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. And that should be the message for Bitcoin. Bitcoin always has different trauma to face each bull run. We've had, the pandemic was the last bull run. Before that, we had turmoil with presidential people in power. I have to be very careful what I say. So each cycle we have different challenges. This cycle we'll be coming out of high interest rates and we'll be going into, hopefully, a little bit of a bull market in the world in general. We've had austerity for a while now. Once interest rates start to come down, people start to get more money in their pockets, they'll spend more, and then the economies will start to come back. Everybody looks from inside the fire. Everyone's in there and they can't see what's going on. And everything goes in cycles. Bitcoin does, the stock market does, the world does. We've had austerity now, we've had high interest rates, we've had high inflation. We will come out the other end of it, and when we do, people will have more money and people will look to diversify and probably pick Bitcoin as one of their safe bets. So let's move very swiftly on to who this person is. Mr. 100. They've been buying Bitcoin in 100 Bitcoin batches for a considerable amount of time. And we're not going to mention the name because it's the name of an exchange, but was it Arkham Intelligence have discovered that this address, Mr. 100's address, has 53,000 Bitcoin, and it is a cold storage wallet of an exchange. That's who it is. They shared the information on Platform X with the community that the wallet is most likely owned by an exchange. We're not going to talk about the name of the exchange. We believe these assertions are incorrect. Yes, Mr. 100 is a cold storage wallet. So we spoke on Friday about Mr. 100, and now the puzzle has been solved. We thought it was one of two people. We thought it was either going to be Jeff Bezos, someone like that, or we thought it was going to be some kind of maybe pre-ETF company, like BlackRock, like Fidelity, somebody that was building up towards an ETF launch. Anyway, let's very quickly look at Bitcoin because I am trying to stay on track. Nothing really to report. Let's delete some of these lines. As we said on Saturday, we have come up. I did have my $74,000 target, and we got to, I believe, 73,800. So we nearly hit our target. Then we were rejected. We were rejected quite dramatically. We've come all the way down, and look where we are now. This white line here, this is the previous all-time high, set way back when. If we go out, all-time high. So we are now sitting just below all-time high. And more things have happened. Because it's a Monday, we need to update our bull market support band. The bull market support band is kind of like the safety blanket for Bitcoin, and that has moved up quite dramatically. It is now sitting at just under $50,000, $49,450. And remember what we've been saying all along. Good morning, Tartar. Welcome to the stream. Remember what we said all along on here, that we will need to retrace it. We will need to retrace to it. We are going to come back to it. But I did say that I think this wick down here, this was a bounce off the bull market support band. And the only reason that we didn't hit it was the ETFs. So in my opinion, and I'm going to take my opinion because it's the only opinion I've got, is we have tested this bull market support band and we are going higher. However, what's going to happen is this bull market support band is going to do this as the price of Bitcoin goes up. And I am going to look at the Solana chart in a minute, because at least 6 people in chat, various different chats, by the way, we stream on different platforms. At least 6 people have said Solana, so I'm going to go and have a quick look at it. So what's going to happen is the bull market support band is going to start creeping up like this, and at some point we are probably going to do this and meet it somewhere. We don't know where. We haven't got a crystal ball, but the bull market support band is all you need to know. It's like the average price of Bitcoin over a period of time. That's all you need to worry about. It's the average price. So the average price is just under 50,000. It means next week, next Monday, when we look at this, it will probably be around 50,500, 51,000. And again, this is where we should see absolute solid support, because we have different, I mean, this is going to be support as well. Where we are now will be support further down the line. And this blue line here, this blue line here, I think. There is a blue line somewhere which is going to be the halving. I think it's this blue line here is the halving. So look how close we are to the halving. We are almost there. We are, what's the date? 13. We're potentially 4 weeks away from the halving. Very, very close. Now let's very quickly go and have a look at Solana. I'm not sure we are going to look at Solana. So again, each of these lines was previous. Let's go out a little bit more. We said to you that we need to see Solana breaking these different levels. And again, if you've watched us for the last 4 months, you'll know we've talked about hitting these levels. And where are we now? This is the final target. This is the previous all-time high of Solana, $251. We're currently at $207. What would I like to see? I would like to see this kind of action. Because if we don't, and we keep going up in a straight line, and we're going to go through BOME in a minute, and you're going to see why. If we do this, there is no level of support all the way up. So what's going to happen is we could hit $252, and then we're going to come straight back down again. I would much rather we see a nice, steady climb to break it. So when we come down, we have all these levels of support on the way down, and we don't fall as dramatically. We do not want, remember, we've not had the halving. We still haven't had the halving, and Solana is running, it's running a marathon at an 800-meter race pace. So what's going to happen? It's going to burn itself out. Look at the state of this. Look at the state of the RSI. Wholly overbought. Go back to the weekly. Wholly overbought. It's overbought. It's overbought everywhere. So Solana needs to relax. It needs to remember what the time is or what the date is. It needs to remember where it wants to go to, and it needs to stop running ahead. It needs to stay with the pack, and it needs to hold $200. It needs to hold it. If we don't hold it, we're going to come straight back down to about $173. So Solana is great if you've got a bag, but I'm not going to be advising anybody to buy a bag of Solana at $207 right now. Yes, we could run to 250 by Wednesday or Thursday. Great. But where's the money coming from? And when are people going to take profits? The money's coming from the meme coins. That's where the money's coming from to pump the price. So what happens when the money from the meme coins runs out? We're going to run out of steam, aren't we? So, or alternatively, when a new meme coin comes up, where are we going to go? And that's leading me to my next point, which is I made a video on Saturday warning everybody as best I could not to buy BOME, not to buy Book of Meme. And I was expecting an awful lot of criticism about it. I was expecting people to kick off at me saying, why are you telling people not to buy BOME? BOME is going to the moon. And my video basically said, we already got to the moon and now we're going to retrace. I'm going to show you the chart in a minute. So if you've not heard of BOME, I think it's now listed on most exchanges. It came out of nowhere. I don't think it even had a market cap this time last week. I think it really started to take off by Tuesday or Wednesday last week. And then by Saturday, it was at 1.3, $1.4 billion market cap, having been nowhere. So I worry when we see headlines like this. I worry because retail gets wrecked. You get wrecked. You go and chase the tornado. And what happens when you catch a tornado? You get wrecked. I'm going to keep saying that as well, because don't chase these tokens. Wait for them to retrace, or if you are lucky enough to get in before, you buy them then. Now, on our channel, when we make videos, we try and catch these meme tokens as fast as we can. In this instance, it only happened on Tuesday or Wednesday. I noticed it on Friday. I made the video on Saturday. 4 or 5 days. Normally with tokens, when we've covered Myro, when we've covered Coke, when we've covered, I'm trying to think of which other ones we've covered, Snack, Dino LFG, when we cover meme tokens, we normally give them a few weeks or months to gather momentum, because I'm not going to come on here and say, go and buy Book of Meme when it's 3 days old and it's likely to lose you your investment, because that would be foolish of me, and we don't give financial advice. So we do give coins time, but this one just came out of absolutely nowhere. So it launched this week. It got to $1 billion within 48 hours of trading. Now, if that doesn't scream red flag, I don't know what does. No one had heard of it. So the emergent can be regarded as a silver lining in the crypto space. Really? Above Bitcoin's decline, which resulted in the maiden cryptocurrency falling. Yeah, we know that one. So what is Book of Meme? The Book of Meme was founded by Dark Farms. I've covered this in my video. The creator of another popular meme coin, Pepe Coin. BOME functions as an experimental project aimed at incorporating memes, decentralized storage solutions, degen, trading, and gambling on a single platform in a bid to create a novel Web3 experience. Now, the one thing I will give it, and I didn't catch in my video, is this. I'm not going to say the words because it's rude, but there is talk that the Book of Meme will have a decentralized exchange for trading meme coins. Now that is exciting. Now I can buy into that because it gives you a place to go and find meme coins, number one. But secondly, if there is due diligence and if there is a way for this decentralized exchange to create an environment where the coins are not pump and dump schemes, where the teams are doxed, where the contracts are checked, where the liquidity pools are checked, where all of these things can be in one place, I am all for it. There is another industry, which I'm not going to mention the name of on this channel, where you go and buy an unregulated service off somebody. And unfortunately, it isn't regulated and the product isn't very good. Now, if that service was regulated, the product would be of a far higher value. You would have some protection, and it would be a lot safer for you to use those products. Unregulated products like meme coins in this instance, they're a gamble, and I don't advise anybody to invest anything more than 1% of their portfolio into meme coins because it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. And I'm not going to sit here. My job is not to try and make you rich, remember. It's to try and stop you from becoming poor, which is why I made the video on Saturday that I hope most of you watched. So then, BOME's expectations. Expedia's rise, has earned the coin listing on major crypto platforms. I'm not going to mention the names. In a similar fashion with other highly successful meme coins, some investors have benefited the most. And we're not going to go into some of this. Let me show you the chart then. And again, the reason I'm showing you this chart is to try and tell you when I made the video and show you what happened since I made the video. And that is the key. Okay, so I made the video. Let's have a look. You're not going to believe me, but it's the truth. So I made the video where that blue line was. And I said, do not buy this coin. This coin is only going to go down. This coin is only going to go down. And it is not going to make you any money. And that's what I said in my video, which I made about, we're going to call it 1 o'clock on Saturday. It was about then. It's in the video. I think it was 2.7 cents when I made the video. And I've got the line from 2.8, so pretty much there. Now look what's happened since I made the video. The price has retraced all the way down to 1.4 cents. So had you bought it at 2.8 cents, you'd have already lost half your money. That is why I try and catch these meme coins as soon as possible and tell you not to buy them. Now then, the price of a coin, the adoption of a coin, and the value of a coin are three totally different things. And this is why I made a video about the Gary Network, which is it's kind of like a streaming platform where you can earn revenue from streaming to people and you can get tips and things like that. Now, again, it's a great product. The price is incredibly low, but it hasn't been adopted. So the price and adoption match. This project hasn't been built and it ran to $1.4 billion. It is never going to be a $1.4 billion project at this stage in its life cycle. If it builds its meme exchange, which it promises to build, if it starts to build out these alpha quests, which it looks at doing, then I totally agree. This project could go and challenge Bonk and SHIB and Pepe and Dog with Hat. I'm totally on board with it. But this is hype. This isn't based on anything. If we redraw the line ever so much like this, you'll see it's being sold off. Every time the price comes up, people are selling it. Sold it here, they've sold it off here, they've sold it off here. And what are they selling it off to? They are selling it off to Solana. Why is Solana pumping? Because people are taking profits from memes. They're going to sit on those profits, and then when the next meme comes out, let's call it Warehouse with Hat. So Warehouse with Hat is launched on Solana on Wednesday. You will see $1.5 billion worth of Solana being sold for that token. That's what's going to happen. They're just going to chase the next one. You, however, will be holding your coin here. Now, I'm not saying it's going to zero. What I'm saying is you have to try. I mean, it's such a new coin. It's really hard to draw any kind of graph. Now, what could happen with this coin? It could do this. Okay? And it could do this. Imagine this is the weekly chart. It could do this for the next 6 months, and then it launches the DEX. It's going to go like that. It's going to go up here. It's going to break all-time highs, and it's going to be back at 1.4, 1.5 billion if the project delivers. That's the key. So I'm not saying this coin is going to go to absolute zero. The team have history, so that's a massive plus. And I don't believe the team, for 1 minute, believed that this token was going to reach 1.4 billion in such a short space of time. So I try and catch these videos to show you what's going on. I don't make it all the time on time, but when I do catch it, try and heed the warning, because if you'd have watched my video before buying this token, you'd have saved yourself a 50% loss. Again, the caveat is the project is new. The project can take off in the future. Kishan is right. Let me show you Bonk as another example. And let's go to the daily. And there's lines upon bleeding lines on these charts. There we go. So what happened with Bonk? We have just seen, if you imagine this is BOME. I had a proper drawing session on this chart, didn't I? Look at that. It's all over the place. Here we go. So, BOME. This is BOME. BOME has just done this. And where are we now? We're down here. And as I've just said, we are likely to tick along for however long, and then probably have another pump, then come down, and then, if the project has got legs further down the line, it will do this. If it has legs. But remember, this is Bonk's second pump. It pumped at the start of 2023. It went an entire year of doing nothing, and then it ripped. So it was here, which you can't quite catch. It sat down here. No, it was longer than that. It sat down there forever and a day for a year. I covered it in a video in February 2023. Maybe January, February. Anyway, whenever it was, it's all a blur. But BOME is likely to do the same thing. And we are currently here on BOME. So the chances are we're going to do this for a while on BOME. So you've got plenty of time to buy into it, but maybe wait for it to retrace before you buy into BOME. I know it's a sexy, exciting coin. I know the website is probably the worst website I've ever looked at. It's one page. It's a mess. It's typed in Times New Roman, and it got to $1.4 billion. It was incredulous. Adverts everywhere. Okay. So Arbitrum then, price dips post massive token unlock, massive sell-off drives ARB price decline. 11.38, we're not doing too bad for time. Now remember, it was something ridiculous, like 74% of the total circulating supply was unlocked. It was crazy, and I couldn't see how the price wasn't going to dip. We have got the chart, we're going to look at it in a minute. So Arbitrum, ETH Layer 2, unlocked 1.1 billion tokens in line with its schedule. Post the unlock, there was an increase in inflow of ARB tokens to exchanges. Investors that received ARB token airdrops lined up to shed their holdings and realize their gains. And remember what we were saying before about Solana. You hold 50 Solana today, and that goes to $1,000. That's $50,000 of Solana, but it's technically unrealized gains. It's not in your local currency. So if you were to sell $30,000 worth of Solana, that would become $30,000 of realized gains. And of course, it would be taxable and all those things. But that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is if you hold 100,000 Arbitrum at $2, it's $200 worth of an asset, but it's unrealized. When you come to sell it, if you get $200,000, then that's $200,000 of realized gains. So of course the price was going to absolutely plummet. So the ARB token unlock ushers the decline in the Arbitrum. It unlocks its 1.1 billion. Now, I don't really want to look too much at this. I'm trying to work out if we can get through the rest of the news, I think we're just going to go to the chart on Arbitrum. Now, when I covered this last week, I said there may be a buying opportunity for Arbitrum, and that buying opportunity will come when the price has absorbed the new circulation. Because when you unlock so many of these tokens and such a large amount of the tokens, people will panic. Not every token that got unlocked on Saturday was sold. Right, that's the first thing to bear in mind. If somebody says to you there's going to be 100 million tokens out of a circulating supply of 150 million unlocked on one day, you immediately think 100 million are going to be sold. That's not what happens. A very large percentage will be sold. But we did have some highs. I've not drawn a chart on ARB for ages. In fact, I don't think this version has it, but it doesn't matter. So let's have a look at where we got to. Roughly $2.26 was the kind of all-time high so far for Arbitrum. We then appeared to be in a nice little range here, where we've come up and down, up and down, up and down. So the dump has taken us to two things: the bottom of this range and beautifully touched its moving average here. Touched it. Positive sign. I mean, it didn't do that. So that's a positive sign. If we can see the price move back up like this over the next few days, fantastic. But we need to get some kind of view. This is Monday after the unlock on Saturday. So in terms of working days, people will probably not be in the office until this afternoon, and if they're in America. Let's see what today does for Arbitrum. We could see the price come down. You've got to kind of look at previous price action. That's a nice thing to see there. The price came down to its previous all-time high there. So where could it come down to? Well, $1.63 would bring it back down to its support band. If you go back and look at previous levels, maybe you'd be scrabbling around to maybe look at 145. But I don't think it's going to come down too much further. I don't think it's going to go to under $1. When we covered this coin, I think we covered it for Tariq asked us about this coin, and we covered it around here, and we referred to it as a stable coin because the price just wouldn't get above $1 for a very long time. It stuck below its bull market support band, and then of course what happened, it broke out, tested support a few times, and then went off to the races. So what we need to see is we need some sort of confirmation. I'm not going to be buying Arbitrum at 172 irrespective of what happens to the price, because I need to see where it's going to go next. We could see, I mean, that is certainly one possibility. We need to see what happens at these two prices. The price it's at, and then we need to see if it comes down to 164, what happens there. But if you're holding Arbitrum, you believe in the project, then this doesn't matter. If you are buying it to speculate on the price and you expect it to go to $5, $6, $7, $8, I don't expect it to do that anytime soon because of the unlock. So let's see what today brings. Maybe we'll look at Arbitrum on Wednesday or Thursday this week. We'll revisit it and we'll see where we are. But coming down to touch this support band is good. It is in a range, which I hadn't noticed before the stream. So we're in this nice little range here. If we can hold it, then maybe we can come back up. I think $2 is going to be a push, but if we can get back to 190, then great. If you're holding it for the long term, it doesn't really matter what I say to today because you believe in the project, and that's the most important thing. If you believe in the project the same way that I believe in something like Chainlink, then I don't even look at the Chainlink price. I don't look at the Avalanche really. I don't really look at the Avalanche price. I don't really look at the ICP price. If there's projects I believe in, I don't care what the price is today or tomorrow. Over a 6-month or a 12-month period, in a bull run, I'd expect them to do well. If one of my coins that I've picked doesn't move in a bull run, then that doesn't bode too well. Arbitrum is moving with the bull run. We've had the unlock, the price is retraced to the bottom of its range. Maybe it will move higher, but I'm not going to touch Arbitrum. I'm not going to short it, I'm not going to long it, I'm not going to buy any of it. I'm just going to basically hold my, I don't hold any, but if I did hold any, I would hold my bag and just wait. Now then, we're going to get on to a case of semantics. And we're going to look at India. And the reason we're looking at India is because of the semantics that have been used. A currency is not the same as money. So Indian finance minister says crypto assets cannot be currencies. Now, why has she said this? A currency is something that is issued by a government or a central bank. That is what a currency is. That is not what money is. There is a definition there that you need to understand. They are two different things. And I will admit, when I was doing the research for the stream today, I didn't appreciate the differences between the two. I just assumed that currencies are money and money is currencies. They are not. Currencies are issued by a central issuer. She is therefore correct. They cannot be currencies because they cannot be controlled. What can be controlled is a central bank digital currency. The clue is in the name. That is how. Got nil knowledge on crypto. Oh, you mean the finance minister? I thought you meant me. I think, to be fair, Kishan, I think what happens is that I think it's just down to education. I think a lot of people immediately see things as a threat. So you've seen that thing. First they ignore us, then they laugh at us, then they fight with us, and then they join us. I think it's something like that. And that's been the case with crypto all along. It was ignored. It was laughed at. They went to, they had their time talking about it being used by nefarious people. And now we're at the stage where it's being adopted, and we've got BlackRock, we've got governments, we've gone through that cycle. And with lots of countries who aren't necessarily at the forefront yet, it's more down to lack of education. So when we first started doing these videos, I was like, I would have railed on her, and I would have said she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's too critical. She needs to understand it. But you've got to understand, crypto is a threat to governments. It is, whether we like it or not. Governments need to print money. We had this conversation 3-4 streams ago. Governments can print money. Why do they need to tax you? If a government can create all the money it needs to turn the lights on, to power the water supply, to keep the trains running, to keep its armed forces, if a government can print money, why does it tax you? It taxes you to reduce the money supply so it can print money. And if you don't believe me, look at how much money is printed every year by major governments. There's a big argument at the minute on crypto Twitter about why the UK was wrong to not adopt the euro. If the UK had adopted the euro, it wouldn't be able to print its own money, and it wouldn't be able to set its own interest rates. Therefore, it is not a sovereign nation. I don't care what Germany and France and Spain are saying. They are not sovereign nations because they are part of the EU, and the EU controls interest rates, currency supply. So, India, for example, has its rupee. How does it protect its rupee? How does Donald Trump protect the dollar when he becomes the president of America? He protects it by attacking what's a threat to it. And Bitcoin was seen as a threat. Donald Trump now realizes it's not a threat. He sees it as gold. The Bitcoin is never in a million years going to challenge the sovereignty of a nation. That is not what it's made for. And you know why it's never going to threaten the sovereignty of a nation? Because it doesn't have a head. It is a decentralized, uncensorable store of value. That's all it is. Okay, it's digital energy, it's digital property, it can be owned. Okay, it has no armed forces, it has no political agenda. That is why it isn't a threat, but it is seen as a threat at this moment until they understand it isn't. It's like a new animal walks across the prairie and the lions and the tigers are looking at it going, is that thing going to bite me, or is it food? Is it food? Can I eat it, or will it eat me? That's what they're thinking. And if it's neither, because it doesn't taste very nice and it doesn't attack them, then it's no longer a threat, it's no longer food, it'll be on its merry way and it'll go and live among them. And the Bitcoin is at the stage where various different lions and tigers are assessing whether it's a threat to their nationality, to their sovereignty, and you've got to appreciate their viewpoint. Tax without regulation is bad or good. We basically need tax to keep, as I said, to keep the money supply down. If the government just keeps printing money and we keep all the money, what we're going to do with the money? We're going to spend it. We're going to buy more things. What does that do? It pushes demand up. Supply won't go up to meet demand. Prices will go up. You'll go into hyperinflation and we'll end up in the Weimar Republic where it will cost you $150,000 to buy a coffee. That's what they're trying to avoid. So they tax you to suck the money out of the system that they are printing. It's like a cycle. So they pump money in to build things, to look after you, healthcare, whatever it might be. They pump the money in, and that's not a bad thing, by the way. Then they take the money out. And that money that they take out, of course that money goes to pay for things. But that's existing circulating supply. But they just have to keep you poor enough to not overspend and cause hyperinflation. That's what they're doing, and it's not a bad thing. Hyperinflation is a terrible thing. So the Indian Finance Minister reiterates crypto stance. She said it can't be a currency. She's absolutely correct. They are assets, and they are a store of value. I know you've got assets, you've got commodities. You know, gold is an asset. It's also a commodity. Crypto is an asset. It's also a commodity. They cannot be currencies, which she's correct on. She's absolutely correct on. And the government of India are the people who issue the currency in India. And that's how it should be. They should always be in charge of their currency. Crypto is an asset created for speculation, for trading, or for whatever person, pointing out it's still unregulated in India. Well, the reason it's unregulated in India, I mean, it's all well and good saying it is still unregulated in India, but that's the role and responsibility of the Indian government. You can't sit there as the Indian government and say, well, it's not regulated. It's your job. Go and regulate it. Go and look after it. Go and create regulated exchanges. Go and regulate the other exchanges which are in India. Go and make illegal all of the ways that people can lose money in crypto via these other kinds of, these Ponzi schemes, whatever. Go and do that. That's your job. Your job is to regulate it. And you know what comes with regulation? Tax. They can get tax revenue from regulating it. America has regulated some very contentious things in the last 5 or 6 years, and they earn revenue from it. Go and tax crypto. Tax it as an asset if you have to. But don't complain that it's not regulated when it's your job to regulate it. She cautioned if one country regulates it and others don't, it's an easy way of moving money, round tripping, or whatever. Now, again, it doesn't matter if crypto is or isn't regulated. I can send anybody listening to this stream Solana in 10 seconds from my Solana wallet to yours, and nobody is ever going to be able to stop that. So let's get that clear. However, the issue is that centralized exchanges need to be regulated in India, and they need to create a legal framework for these companies to work within to allow them to work on a level playing field with everybody else. It's all everybody else. What do we want in crypto on this channel? We ask for regulation and adoption. Regulation and adoption. If you listen to us more than 5 times, you're going to hear us say the same things over and over again. And countries have to regulate. You can't sit there and say, oh, well, we don't like crypto, it's not regulated. That's the circular argument. Anyway, very briefly then, before we get on to the last article, we've got 5 minutes left. We've managed to absolutely nail the show today in an hour. And I'm just going to give you a very simple breakdown of what money is, just so we're all on the same page. And I'm not going to read all of this out, believe you me. I've been in enough lectures in my time to never want to see a PowerPoint presentation ever again. Okay, so there are multiple ways to describe money. There are different ways, as you can see, traditional, Friedman, Gurley, PSEC and savings definitions. There's thousands of them. Now, this is the 3 key points, and think to yourself, is Bitcoin all of these 3? Is it a medium of exchange? Can it be used to purchase goods and services? Does it have units of account? And is it a store of value? Store of value, gold. Unit of account, pounds, shillings, pence, satoshis. Medium of exchange, can you use Bitcoin to buy things? Absolutely. Now, does this apply to every cryptocurrency in the market? No. It's not every cryptocurrency is a store of value. They all have unit of accounts, and most of them are mediums of exchange. So they tick 2 of the 3 boxes. But only really Bitcoin has been built to be a store of value, as well as a unit of account, as well as a medium of exchange. And they are the functions of money. Okay? There are different kinds of money. We don't need to go through all of this. I'm not even going to leave a link beneath the video because I don't want people to get absolutely bamboozled by all of this ridiculous text. It's not important. But what you need to understand are those 3 principles. Can you buy something with it? Can you use it as a store of value? And does it have a record? Does it have a pounds, shillings, pence over a period of time? And the answer is yes to all 3 for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is not a currency of a nation. Okay, there's a difference. Now, you are going to see in future countries buy Bitcoin to put into their treasury, and they will be using that as a store of value, the same way they've used gold for 300 years. But it's not a currency, and we shouldn't think of them as currencies. So when we call them cryptocurrencies, we shouldn't. We should call them crypto assets, not cryptocurrencies. But everybody calls them cryptocurrencies. It's just become the name for them, but they're not currencies. They are assets. And that's the difference. So she is absolutely correct in stating that crypto is not a currency. She's right. Bitcoin is electronic, digital, energy, property, money, whatever word you prefer to use. That's where we are. But that was something that has to be highlighted, especially for people that come along and say, but it's called cryptocurrency. No, currencies are issued by central banks. Money is a different thing. Money is anything that you are willing to accept for a service or a product. If I go to you and I try and buy a loaf of bread off you for 3 marbles and you accept it, and then you use 2 of those marbles to go and buy wheat and flour to make more bread. Marbles are money. That's how it works. It's a medium of exchange. I will come and paint your walls in your house and you will feed me. You will give me a meal for painting your walls. That's a medium of exchange, but they're not currencies. Now, we've covered this before, which are venture capital firms were heavy into crypto 4 or 5 years ago, and they've all left and they've all gone on to AI. Now think about where we were 4 years ago in crypto. Those 4 years, we've seen massive adoption, massive growth. We've now got ETFs. Venture capital firms move from one new industry to another, and they're now moving into AI. That should tell you where the future is headed. And then in 3 years' time or 2 years' time, you'll hear about VC firms moving into a different industry. Maybe they'll move into AI robotics, for example. That's where the money's going to be made in 5-6 years' time. So you should always follow the money, the early money, because these guys spend millions and millions of dollars a year researching the trends and where are we going to go and what's the next big thing. And they do the research for you. You don't have to do it. So AI blockchain solutions are winning investors' hearts. And again, don't think that the AI and blockchain tech are two separate entities. They're not. There is going to be massive AI blockchain interoperability. We've talked about using AI to send money back and forth. We've talked about AI trading bots on the channel. We've talked about AI. What else have we talked about? AI generating investment portfolios. So there's lots of things that AI can be used for. We're just scratching the surface with it. Anyway, so let's move down to where we're talking. Attracting investors is the growing development of solutions combining artificial intelligence and blockchain tech, as well as products targeting institutional investors joining the crypto space. So the VC Roundup features startups that raise capital in the first few weeks of March. Now, these companies, none of you will have heard of them. I haven't heard of them. One of them, two of them may end up being huge companies in the future. Of course, they haven't got tokens listed, but this is where the money is going. Utilia gets $11.5 million of seed funding to create an institutional wallet. Is that needed? Yes, absolutely. Of course it is. The biggest problem with crypto at the minute is it's very scary to put $1 billion onto a fob. That's the problem. There needs to be a more secure way or multi-sig wallet way of having cold storage with fail-safes built in the future, and institutional wallets fall under that category. So for me, very happy to see that. Synapse raises $1 million for digital assets credit intelligence. So this is earmarked for the development of a platform aimed at establishing an unbiased credit rating system. Again, absolutely perfect. A couple of questions then. Any assets generate money? Most assets generate money, yes, apart from gold. That's why gold is more of a commodity and oil is more of a commodity, because they don't directly generate money. And if you listen to Warren Buffett, he will never buy gold. He will always buy revenue generating assets, farms, Apple, people who make things, because they earn a yield 2, 3, 4% a year, and the asset goes up in value over a year. Your wallet is as 3.5x from my entry. Do you think you can 10x from here? I do. Not financial advice, of course. I do absolutely think you can 10x from here. My target from where we are today is to 4x my portfolio. That's where I want to get to. If I 4x'd my portfolio from today, I will have made what I want to make out of crypto. So I only need a 4x from where we are, maybe even a 3.5x from where we are now. But remember, I'm very heavy on Bitcoin, very heavy on Ethereum, very heavy on layer ones. Got a lot of XRP, I've got a lot of Cardano. I don't have a lot of high risk plays. I have a few. So I have $2,000 is my small plays. I have a lot of $2,000 plays. And if 2 or 3 of them 10x or 20x, I'll be very happy with them. But the bottom of my portfolio are $2,000 plays. And when you look at your portfolio, you need to say to yourself, if Bitcoin is going to 4x from here and Ethereum is going to 6x from here, the majority of winners in this bull run are going to 5 to 20x. But then they're also going to retrace an awful lot. Altcoins will outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum by the end of the bull run, simply based on the fact that they are smaller market caps. So like I said, let's say Bitcoin does a 4x and it puts us at $250,000 for Bitcoin, but it's 4x'd. Ethereum with its ETF, let's say it gets to $25,000. That would give it a 10-1 against Bitcoin, which I think is achievable. Now, $25,000, let's call it $4,000 today. That's going to 6x, for argument's sake. Cardano will potentially 8x, 6x, 8x, something around that. But once you get down to coins which are in the $1, $2, $5, $8 billion range, those coins are the ones that should really do multiples if the project is picked up during the bull run. Remember, not every single coin in the market is going to go up. Not every single coin is going to have the same bull run. Some coins, like we've seen with Solana, if Solana gets to $250 this week, where does it go? Where does it go? Are we talking now about Solana starting to challenge Ethereum? That's incredible. Good morning, Flip Those Cryptos. Flip Those Cryptos has also made videos about BOME. So if you want to see two different opinions on BOME, go and check out Flip Those Cryptos because he's made some really good videos on it over there. So altcoins on the whole should outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum on the whole. Anyway, so credit rating based on AI, again, another valuable and useful thing. We don't want human emotion in credit rating. Sahara, decentralized AI network. Now remember, if it was to create a decentralized AI network and creating these knowledge agents, what would it go into direct competition with? It would go into competition with Fetch. Fetch AI already has a decentralized AI network. So, if it's already got a massive competitor to go up against, by the time this product comes to the market, is it going to be able to compete? Look at Chainlink. Chainlink is the oracle of all oracles. It's going to be very difficult to displace them. They've got years on their competition. They have all of the contacts and the experience. You don't want to go up against Chainlink. By the time Sahara develops this AI system, is it going to be able to compete with Fetch? And my answer is probably going to be no. I don't think it will. I think the market is big enough for 2, 3, 5, 10 players, but Fetch has already got a 4-year head start. So is Sahara going to be able to catch it? I don't think so. Ton, again. Ton. I'm just not a fan of Ton or the Ton token. I just don't like it. I'm going to be honest. UX Link, 10 million for Web3 social media. Again, I'm very dubious about Web3 social media platforms. You are taking on Zuckerberg. You are taking on Musk. You are taking on Telegram, I suppose. Are you going to win? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it in the future. I don't see it. My problem is when you move into a market with Goliaths, how are you going to win? I know that sounds defeatist, but Instagram, Facebook, X or Twitter, you're going to call it, TikTok, you're going to need such a high level of adoption. I can't see it. And the final one is 10. Ethereum Layer 2 network has raised $9 million. It's going to combine optimistic rollups and ZK rollups, offering an encrypted Layer 2 for developers. Again, anything that's going to work as a Layer 2 on Ethereum has to make sure it doesn't go up against Polygon. Polygon is the top dog. Polygon has already got its ZK rollups. It's already got its ag layer. Polygon is the boss. I don't care about Optimism and Arbitrum. For me, it's way ahead of everything else. So that is the roundup. We are 10 past 12. We've done the show. I have a few more messages. Chainlink is one of my biggest holdings in my portfolio. Chainlink, I think I got Chainlink at like $5, $6, I think. Maybe even less, more, $6 maybe, I don't know. So my Chainlink bag has done very well. Mohammed, you can send me your portfolio, absolutely no problem. Send it across and I will have a look. Now, that is the end of the show. A big thank you to everybody who has watched, taken part, interacted with me. And if you are new here, please make sure to smash. The only way we're going to get bigger and get better tech and get better stuff for the show is by having followers. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, today we'll probably hit 109,000 followers across the different channels that we've got. So it's important that we get that number as high as possible. So if you can follow us, that's the best thing you can do with us. Do for us. Commenting is amazing. We love interacting with people. I'm always going to read out your comments. I'm always going to give you shout outs. Just make sure that you keep your notifications turned on for us, because I will stream 6 times this week, Monday to Saturday at 11 o'clock every day. Brogan is streaming again tonight at 9 o'clock, and Wednesday night at 9 o'clock he does a live trading show. So 9 hours from now, there will be another event in your calendar on this channel for Brogan to do live shows. If you have coins that you want looking at, if you have coins that you want to know where the price action is going to go, watch the show tonight. For some reason, this show that I'm on now gets 3 or 4 times the number of views than Brogan's show. And Brogan's show is the one where you say, what's going to happen to Chainlink? What's going to happen to Pi? What's going to happen to BOME? And he'll give you the answers. And 9 times out of 10, he's spot on. And the other time, he's just got the timing wrong, and he'll end up being right. I know he doesn't use rocket science. He uses technical analysis. He knows what he's talking about. He's studied it now for a very long time, probably 2 years. And for an 18-year-old to be at the stage where they're studying TA for 2 years, he's incredible. So you need to make sure you give him some support. Just pop in and say hello for 20 minutes and give him some support, because some nights he's rammed, people just bombard him, other nights it's dead. But it's good to listen to. If you want to learn how to trade, you need to watch him, not me. I am an old man. I just look at patterns on the charts. That's all I do. And yes, my patterns do end up playing out. But Brogan is the one who looks at money flow. He looks at moving averages. He looks at the golden pockets. He looks at all of those things. So go and check him out. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. A big thank you to everybody that's been here. Mohammed, Flip, Kishan, Tata, Y-Crypto, Sloth. Everybody, I'm sure Andrea is out there listening. Mags, a big thank you to all of you. Tariq, just tell him to change its timing. I know the problem is, if he brings it forward, we have our dinner at 7 p.m. So it's difficult to then have dinner at 7 and then do a show at, say, 8. Because believe it or not, it takes an hour to prepare the show. Even his show, where he's doing charts, it takes an hour. So it's a bit of a rush to get it done for 8 o'clock. But I know what you mean. I did think about that yesterday. Maybe bring it forward an hour. Anyway, thank you, Tariq and Mags and everybody else. Maybe we will think about bringing it forward an hour. But anyway, until tomorrow, have a great day. Let's see if Bitcoin can get above 69. I do think it's going to have a run at 70,000 this week. Take care. See you all in the morning. And don't forget, tonight at 9 o'clock, live trading. See you all soon. Thanks for watching.